there's always those famous sports calls that get to you and give you nostalgia and all that. Baseball, for me, it's always like radio calls. Baseball call. It's Tom Cheek's call of Joe Carter's Game 6 home run. Swing at a belt deep to left field. Way back, Blue Jays win it. The Blue Jays win the World Series. It's Joe Carter hits a 3-run home run in the bottom of the ninth. Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit another bigger one in your life. For hockey on the radio, it's always Joe Bowen with the Leafs. His major calls when the Leafs win a playoff series and all that. Well, of course, Rick Jeannerette's Mayday, 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 Brad May wins it for an overtime at 2:43. Buffalo's going to the second round. Next up, La Belle Provence. And then you got yourself football with the Tennessee Titans guys. Wycheck takes a throws a lateral. He's got something. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Titans. There are no flags on the field. It's a miracle. Tennessee has pulled out a miracle. And of course, basketball. Who can forget this call? Jordan on the foul. Take a shot. Good. Bulls win. Bulls beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Can't remember the score. 5. Yeah. I like the radio call a lot more than Dick Stockton's call for CBS. But everyone knows Jordan over EHLO. Well, Jordan over EHLO happened in 93, but let's go back to the first time and see how it could have played out if Jordan didn't score over EHLO. This is the story of the 1989 Cleveland Cavaliers. We're playing basketball sims. We're playing basketball sims. He's playing What If NBA. Cutter's doing What If NBA. Yeah. Oh, all the teams around the world got to know that the Raptors are number one. But what about the Bulls, Wizards, and Pistons? They all have great what ifs. Stories about old teams like the Kansas City Kings and maybe even the Minneapolis Lakers. But we all know we're going to do some basketball. He's doing basketball. He's doing basketball. What if? Cutter's doing what if NBA? So what if NBA? So let's talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers and all that. In 1970, the NBA decided to expand by 3 teams. So them, Portland, and Buffalo. Yes, Buffalo had a team, but now it's in LA as the Clippers via San Diego. But anyhow, Cleveland was there, and they were trying their best to get basketball in there. Hockey, they were trying to look for. They had a team for 2 years, but they put the team in Richfield Coliseum, which is basically in the middle of freaking nowhere, Cleveland, Ohio. Like nowhere, out on the outskirts of Cleveland. Fans had a tough time getting to that stadium for basketball, especially for hockey. So Cleveland had their team and all that for the NBA, and they weren't really the best around. They made some playoff stuff in the 1970s, but thanks to Austin Carr and Bingle Smith, the Cavs were decent. Austin Carr's number 23 is retired by the Cavaliers. I think, or no, that can't be the right number. Austin Carr, I think, was 34. Sorry. But anyway, yeah, Austin Carr was a great player. In the 80s, Cleveland was dilapidated. Their team really sucked. They just couldn't win for crap. And Ted Stepien, one of the worst NBA owners of all time, and that's saying something when you put him in the same group as Donald Sterling, and you know what the fuck he did, what Adam Silver did about it. But the fact of the matter is that Stepien was terrible. He had a professional softball team he wanted to promote, so he threw softballs off the Cleveland Tower and struck people in the arm, which wasn't funny because they're softballs, they're bigger than baseballs. And, he ran the team kind of in the ground, if you will. Stepien decided to try to get better players by any means necessary, and that's trading away draft picks and all that. Cleveland was supposed to get the number one draft pick by proxy in 1982, but they traded that away to the Lakers, and the Lakers won the coin flip and got James Worthy with that pick. Cleveland Stepien made a rule, like his actions made the NBA make a rule that no team can trade first rounders in back-to-back years. So that's what happens and all that. Cleveland just couldn't do anything. There were rumors circulating that Cleveland was going to get out of their stadium deal at Richfield and head to Toronto. That Canada was going to get an NBA team for the first time since the 1940s. Yes, you should know the Toronto Huskies were a team in the NBA's first season in 1947, but only one season. So, yeah. Unfortunately, that didn't materialize. And, Toronto hosted some Buffalo Braves NBA games because Buffalo ended up being third choice at the odd. Like the Buffalo Sabres had first pick, and then Kansas, and I know I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, had better choice. So Cleveland was going to head to Toronto. Unfortunately, that was blocked. New owners came in, like, damn it. Why can't you put an NBA in Canada? Like, ratings in Canada were good for Celtics, Lakers, and all that. It took a while until 1995 before we freaking got a team in Canada for good. Nevertheless, Cleveland started to get better. Brad Doherty was doing everything. Tree Rollins, Craig EHLO, Mark Price. I would say Brett Barry, but I'm probably wrong. But yeah, Cleveland was getting somewhere. Larry Nance. There's a number 25. Oh, Gerald Wilkins also was good for the Cavs and all that. But yeah, Cleveland kept trying and trying, but they were bit by MJ more than once. And they were in the wilderness. They got Finn Baker for a little bit. They got Terrell Brandon. They got other players. And Cleveland had those weird blue and orange pastel jerseys and all that. But in 2003, Cleveland sucked so badly they were going to get the number one draft pick. In one of the greatest draft classes of all time in 2003, Cleveland had the number one pick. And guess who they got? Yes, right. Lebron James. Lebron from St. Vincent's High School in Ohio, like basically close to Cleveland. A lot of people thought it was fixed because obviously where LeBron was playing high school basketball. And at that time, you were allowed to join the NBA as a high schooler. I think 2005 was the end of it. And they said you had to be in 1 year of NCAA and all that. But anyway, LeBron was this phenom, and Cleveland snatched him up. Detroit was pissed off. They had to take Darko Milicic. As crappy as Milicic was, at least he won a ring in his first season. Most people would kill to have an NBA, NHL, NFL, or MLB championship in their rookie campaign. The fact of the matter was that, yeah, Cleveland started to get better. They got Kyrie Irving, J.R. Smith, and many other Cleveland pieces. They were decent in the playoffs. They got to the 2007 finals, but some say the East was very weak. And they were exposed by the San Antonio Spurs in the final. Well, it was 4 straight. LeBron tried his best, and in 2010, he decided on a 1 hour special when it was unnecessary for an hour special. Give him 30 minutes of time, fair enough. And then he took, like, not even 30 minutes into his thing. He just basically said, I'm taking my talents to South Beach. So he goes to Miami. Miami fans are happy. Cleveland fans are pissed off and burn his jersey. They have to spray paint over his freaking mural in Cleveland, downtown Cleveland. It was just horrible. And all that. And like I said, why did he need like a 1 hour special? He could have done it in 30 minutes and poof, would have been fine. LeBron surged with Miami. They kept getting to titles. Cleveland kept sucking badly. And some say that Cleveland was gifted the number one pick in the 2011 draft because, they lost LeBron. And Kyrie Irving was the guy. But LeBron, after 2014, decided to opt out of his contract and head back to Cleveland. Cleveland fans were very quick to unburn their jerseys, the LeBron jerseys. It took a while. 2015, they got to the final, but taken out by the Golden State Warriors and an unknown by the name of Andre freaking Iguodala, my favorite Golden State Warrior of all time. Sorry, Steph Curry. Nevertheless, the Warriors and Cavs would meet in the 2016 finals, and Golden State looked good. Up 3-1, it looked over. But Draymond Green decided to get a stupid technical, get ejected, and suspended for Game 5, and that basically started the snowball effect, and Cleveland won Game 7 thanks to LeBron's block on my boy Iguodala, and then Kyrie's three-pointer with a minute left. Golden State blew a 3-1 series lead in the finals, and this is the team that won 73 games in the regular season. Fuck. But Golden State got revenge on Cleveland, winning the 2017 and 2018 finals against the Cavs. Cleveland would not go to the final in 2019 because LeBron decided to go join the Lakers, and Cleveland sucked a little bit harder. That was good news for the Raptor fans like myself because Cleveland was not in trial's way to get to the final. And lo and behold, the Raptors win the title. LeBron flourishing a bit in the Lakers. Cleveland's had some great years. Donovan Mitchell came out of fucking nowhere. And in 2024-25, they were the one seed in the East, but fumbled to the Indiana Pacers, who, as of this taping, are still in the Eastern Finals against the New York Knicks. So that's what I'm talking about, Cleveland. And let's talk about how MJ screwed EHLO over the first time. All right, so the 1989 Cavs was the 19th season in NBA history. Cleveland decided to pick up Tree Rollins and took Darnell Valentine from the expansion Miami Heat. The Cavs ruined the Hornets' first NBA history by winning 133-93. They were 35-11 at the All-Star break and took second in the Central with 57 wins. Brad Daugherty looked good. Mark Price, Ron Harper. Oh, yeah, I forgot he was a Cav. Larry Nance. Hot Rod Williams off the bench looked good. And Craig EHLO off the bench, too. Price, Daugherty, and Nance were part of the All-Star game, 1989. And people were upset that Ron Harper was not selected. Nevertheless, Wilkins was third in Coach of the Year. They were the 3 seed and would take on the 6 seed Chicago Bulls in the best of 5 first round, but unfortunately MJ put up the series clinching shot. In 1988, they drafted Randolph Keys from South Miss and Winston Bennett from Kentucky. The problem was when they picked up Larry Nance, they traded 2 picks to Phoenix. The first round pick was Dan Marley. Can you imagine Cleveland with Dan Marley in the lineup? Nevertheless, they had Brad Daugherty, the 7-footer from North Carolina, who was the number 1 pick in 1986. Chris Studley from Yale of all teams. Craig EHLO from Washington State. Ron Harper from Miami, Ohio. Phil Hubbard. Randolph Keys. Larry Nance from Clemson. Mark Price from GT. Tree Rollins from Clemson. Mike Sanders. Darnell Valentine. And Hot Rod Williams. They won 57 games, but couldn't win the division because those pesky Pistons won 63. Cleveland couldn't even be the 2 seed because the rules were that the 2 division winners were 1-2. So the Knicks were number 2 and Cleveland was number 3. So that's what it was. Atlanta, Milwaukee, Chicago, Philly, and Boston rounded out the playoff teams. In the playoffs, they played best of 5 first round till the NBA did that till 2003, but they only could play 5 games and all that. And they went loss, win, loss, win, loss. EHLO put up 24 points in front of 20,273 at Richfield Coliseum. MJ over EHLO, shot good, and the Bulls sent the Knicks packing, sent the Cavs packing. You know, Ron Harper had a good year and all that. Mark Price would make All NBA third team, basically the third team All Star, and Larry Nance was All Defensive first team. So the Cavs were not really the best around. So what would happen if MJ didn't burn EHLO? What would have happened? We'll find out. So the Knicks would play the Cavs and all that. The Knicks won 52 games. The Cavs would win 57. I don't remember if the NBA said that Cleveland would have been home court, even though that they got the 3 seed. I think the rules were that Cleveland would have hosted the first game against New York because they had more wins. I think that's the rule. So that's what I'm going to go by, that rule. And besides, it's Cleveland. So what if the Cleveland Cavaliers in 89 met the 89 New York Knicks? Because the NBA, unlike the NHL, does not reseed after the first round. So that meant that the winner of the 2-7 matchup took on 3-6. And the Knicks were the number 2 seed. The Cavs would have won 3-6 and faced the Knicks. Now, ordinarily, if there was reseeding, the Bulls, who sent the Cavs packing, would have faced the Pistons in the second round. But they took on the Knicks. So anyway, the Knicks would take on the Cavs. So we're going to do game one. Game one would be an overtime thriller, and Cleveland would win by a point. Ron Harper getting a triple-double. 28 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. For the next three, all starters except for Gerald Wilkins got double digits. Mark Jackson, who went later to become a Pacer and Raptor. Patrick Ewing, the legend from Georgetown. Charles Oakley, future Raptor. And Johnny Newman, future Hornet, if I remember correctly. Trent Tucker, a guy who once had a massive three-pointer to beat the Bulls in a game. Sidney Green, Kenny Skywalker, Rod Strickland, future Bullets icon. Eddie Lee Wilkins, sounds like a guitar player, and Kiki Vandeweghe on the bench. Cleveland, 35 from Doherty, 28 from Harper, 26 from Price. Nance and Sanders both had double digits. Hot Rod Williams with 8 points off the bench and all that. EHLO had 11 points off the bench. Game two would see the Knicks get their asses whipped as Larry Nance remembered everything. All the Knicks starters did get to double digits. And we see Pete Myers, future Bull, and Greg Butler also there as a substitute to Cleveland. Every player except for Sanders. 18 points was the highest. High Rod 15 off the bench. Craig EHLO had 11 off the bench. And the Cavs have a 2-0 series lead against the Knicks. And the Cavs would lose game three as Charles Oakley remembered who the freak he was. 15 points, 15 rebounds. Doherty with 20, Harper 16, pair 14s there. 12 points from Hot Rod Williams. No Knicks scored more than 15 points. It was basically shared points. Rod Strickland had 14 points off the bench in 17 minutes. Holy fuck. Game four. Let's see. The Cavs go into New York, win. Mark Price, 17 points, 10 rebounds. He's usually an assist guy, but yeah, he did his job. Well, he had the most assists, but yeah, 21 from Nance, 17 from Price. Brad Doherty only had 3 points in 33 minutes. He only had one foul. Like, what the fuck? Like, Tree Rollins had more points with him, fine. But Phil Hubbard, oh Mother Hubbard, had more points off the bench than Larry Nance had in the game. 16 from Patrick Ewing. Oakley, well, I should talk. Oakley only had 3 points in 31 minutes. Rod Strickland had 12. Sidney Green had 9. So the Cavs would have taken the 3-1 series lead back home and finished them off. As Ron Harper put up 34 points, and the Cavs would have sent the Knicks packing. 24 from Ewing was not enough. The bench didn't really do their job. 34 from Ron Harper in 34 minutes. You knew the score. Pizza's free. So anyway, the Cavs would face the Pistons because we're gonna go by like real in real life. Whoops, Denver Rockets. Got her. 89. So the 89 Pistons were the 1 seed, and they were the team that went to the NBA Finals. Look at this. Adrian Dantley for Mark Geyer. That was a good trade. Rodman, Lambert, Isaiah, and Dumars. Game one, the bad boys win narrowly, though. Isaiah with 25 points, 8 rebounds. Mark Price with 19, Harper with 13. Isaiah 25, Dumars 16, Lambert 14, Dantley with 9, Rodman with 10. Off the bench, Rick Mahorn 8 points. Finney the Microwave Johnson, James Edwards, Mark Geyer. Well, I guess this simulation engine allows like a Geyer to be on the squad even though he was traded for Dantley and Michael Williams. Game two sees the Cavs lose by 9. Lambert with 14 rebounds. 30 points for Ron Harper, which isn't half bad. Still, same 5 guys off the bench. 12 points from Mahorn, a lot more than Rodman. Rodman only had 8 rebounds. That's not Rodman-like. Detroit would take a 2-0 lead to Richfield and win game 3 as Isaiah put up 14 points, 12 assists. Every starter got 14 points for the Pistons, 13 points from Microwave off the bench, 24 from Doherty, 21 from Harper, and their bench not so much. So does the Pistons sweep the Cavs? The answer is no. Ron Harper, 25.7 rebounds to fight another day. And Detroit decides to use more than 5 people off the bench. John Spider Sally, John Long, Fennis Dembo, Daryl Dawkins was on that team, and Jim Rosinski. Fennis Dembo. Yeah. He was from some school. Was it like Bowling Green or something? I don't think it'll tell me. Yeah, it doesn't fucking tell me. But it's simple. But anyway, 25 from Ron Harper, and Brad Doherty put up 18. High Rider and Elo, 9 points off the bench. So we go to game 5 back in Detroit. And the Pistons will have to go back to Cleveland. Larry Nance, 25 points, 13 rebounds. I thought Detroit would have easily crushed Cleveland going back home. Randolph Keys, 12 points off the bench. Hyrod Williams, the same. Venice Temple, yeah. It's gonna screw me over. Excuse me here. There we go. Venice Temple. What school did he go to? Wyoming. Oh, he went to Wyoming. I think he died recently. He went to Wyoming. Okay. So they go back to Cleveland, and there, and the Pistons lose. Brad Doherty, 21.7 rebounds. So the Cavs could reverse sweep the Pistons. 13 points. There's Joe, Joe Rowinski and Steve Harris. Okay. The Pistons. Mike Sanders only scored 5 points. Hot Rod, Elo, and Keys scored more points off the bench. Sanders had no excuse. He didn't even have a foul. So they go to game 7 in Detroit. And the journey ends. The journey ends right here. So the Pistons, remember, they have to win game 7 as Adrian Dantley, 24 points. And the Cavs did push Cleveland to game 7, but Cleveland falls short. No Jordan over Elo shot. 22 points from Doherty, 21 points. 24 from Dantley, who everyone remembered was why the Pistons made the move to get rid of Geyer. But the Pistons would have won in game 7. Cleveland would have been close. It would have been amazing if they reverse swept the Pistons to face the Lakers. But they weren't. Anyhow, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.